Have you ever stopped to realize that the moment you start thinking in a certain way, your life starts changing? That every thought you have is like a seed, and what you plant in your mind grows into reality. You become what you think. It's not just a saying, it's the blueprint for your life. Every human being has a remarkable power, a power that most people ignore, a power that can either break you or make you unstoppable. That power is your mind. Right now, you have within you the ability to control your destiny, to design your future. But it all starts with what's happening inside your head. Think about it. What do you think about when you wake up? What do you focus on when you're alone with your thoughts? If your mind is filled with doubt, fear, and negativity, that is exactly what will manifest in your life. But if you choose thoughts of possibility, of power, of strength, of abundance, then your life will shift. It's as simple and as profound as that. The first step is awareness. Most people live on autopilot. They don't notice the thoughts running through their minds. They react to situations instead of creating them. But when you become aware of your thoughts, when you start noticing the patterns, you gain control. And control over your mind is control over your life. Now here's the truth. Thinking positively isn't enough. It's not about repeating words or chanting affirmations and hoping for magic. It's about belief. It's about conviction. When you truly believe in the thought, when you embody it, your mind starts to work with your body, your habits, your decisions, your actions. The moment your thoughts are aligned with your purpose, your life starts moving toward that purpose. Imagine your mind as a magnet. Whatever you focus on, whatever you dwell on, you attract. Focus on your limitations, and they multiply. Focus on your opportunities, and doors begin to open. Focus on abundance, and the universe conspires to bring more to you. Your thoughts are the invisible force shaping your reality. And here's the kicker. This isn't theory. This is science. Your brain, your nervous system, your behaviors, they all respond to the dominant thoughts in your mind. If you program your mind for success, your body, your habits, your decisions, even the people you attract, all start moving in alignment with that success. You literally become the living embodiment of your thoughts. But most people stop themselves. They say, I can't, I'm not enough, it's too late. And when they say these things, they reinforce the very limitations they are complaining about. The irony is brutal, but it's also beautiful, because the exact same mechanism that can hold you back can also launch you forward. Here's the difference. Champions, winners, extraordinary people. They master their minds. They understand that thoughts are not just fleeting images. They are instructions to the universe, and they feed their minds with the kind of thoughts that demand growth, action, courage, and faith. They think like victors, even when circumstances scream defeat. And over time, thinking like a victor becomes living like a victor. You can start right now. Change one thought. Replace a fear with faith. Replace doubt with possibility. Replace hesitation with action. It may feel small at first, but thoughts are powerful. Thoughts create emotions. Emotions drive actions. Actions shape destiny. So, I challenge you, take control of your mind. Feed it with the thoughts that lift you, that inspire you, that fuel greatness. Because the truth is, your thoughts are the architects of your life. You cannot escape them, but you can shape them. You cannot control everything in the world, but you can control what you think. And when you do, you begin to shape the impossible, you begin to live the extraordinary, you begin to truly become what you think. Have you ever stopped to consider that your life right now, in this very moment, is a direct reflection of the thoughts you've been entertaining? Every choice you've made, every action you've taken, every success and every setback, it all began in your mind. The truth is, your thoughts are not just fleeting images or random ideas. They are the architects of your life. What you think about consistently, you begin to attract. What you dwell on repeatedly, you begin to experience. The human mind is not passive. It is an engine that relentlessly shapes reality according to the dominant thoughts it holds. And most people underestimate the power of this. When you look around and see someone living an extraordinary life, achieving things that seem impossible, there's a pattern you'll notice if you look closely. It's not luck, it's not circumstance, it's not even just hard work. It starts with a thought. That person dared to think bigger than the world around them. They imagined what others said was impossible. They refused to let limiting beliefs dominate their imagination. Every major breakthrough, every innovation, every act of courage all begins with a thought. Consider the simple fact: thoughts lead to emotions, and emotions drive behavior. If your mind is filled with doubt, fear, or negativity, your body will respond. You will hesitate, procrastinate, and settle for less than you deserve. On the other hand, if your mind is filled with clarity, confidence, and possibility, your body responds with energy, persistence, and courage. The thoughts you allow to dominate your mind literally dictate the quality of your actions. They determine whether you move forward or stay stuck, whether you attract success or allow opportunities to slip through your fingers. Every moment of your life, you are making a choice, consciously or unconsciously, about what you focus on. The problem is that most people do not choose. They allow their minds to be hijacked by fear, insecurity, and the opinions of others. They fill their heads with stories of why they cannot, instead of visions of why they can. They believe that life happens to them rather than recognizing that their mind is the starting point of everything. What we fail to realize is that a single powerful thought, repeated consistently and infused with belief, has the ability to shift the trajectory of an entire life. Think about the people who have overcome adversity, who have turned failure into triumph. You'll find that their minds were disciplined long before their circumstances changed. They didn't wait for the perfect moment, the right conditions, or external validation. They believed in their vision so intensely that their thoughts shaped their actions shaped their habits, and their habits shaped their reality. They understood the invisible law that what you think about most, you bring about. Even in everyday life, this principle applies. If you constantly tell yourself you are unlucky, that opportunities are scarce, or that success is meant for other people, your mind starts looking for evidence to confirm that belief. You become a magnet for limitation. But if you shift your focus, if you choose to dwell on possibilities, solutions, and your own potential, your mind begins to identify opportunities that were invisible before. Your perception changes, your energy changes, and gradually your external world aligns with the inner reality you are creating. It's important to recognize that shaping your reality with your thoughts requires consistency and awareness. A single positive thought is not enough if it is drowned out by hundreds of negative ones. You must actively choose the thoughts you feed your mind, because your mind will always grow what you nurture. The process is not mystical, it is practical. It involves noticing the stories you tell yourself, identifying the thoughts that hold you back, and intentionally replacing them with thoughts that propel you forward. The extraordinary truth is that you do not have to wait for circumstances to change. You do not need permission or external validation to create a better reality. Change starts with your mind. Shift your thoughts and you shift your life. When you consistently think in terms of possibility, abundance, and action, your mind starts orchestrating behaviors and decisions that naturally lead to growth. It is not about wishing. It is about focusing, directing energy, and aligning your internal world with the reality you desire. And while this idea seems simple, it is profoundly powerful. The moment you grasp it, the moment you truly understand that your thoughts are the starting point of everything, everything changes. You begin to notice patterns, opportunities, and solutions where before you only saw obstacles. You stop waiting for life to happen to you, and you start taking responsibility for the life you create. The life you live becomes a reflection of the thoughts you choose to focus on, the beliefs you decide to hold, and the vision you dare to imagine. Most people go through life on autopilot. They wake up, move through their day, make decisions, react to situations, and fall asleep without ever pausing to notice the patterns running through their minds. They allow thoughts, emotions, and habits to dictate their actions without questioning them. This is why awareness is the first step toward real transformation. You cannot change what you do not see. You cannot improve what you are not aware of. The moment you become conscious of your thoughts, your emotions, and your behaviors, you gain the power to choose differently. Awareness is the spark that lights the path to change, the moment when you step out of automatic living and into intentional creation. The first thing to understand is that your mind is constantly active. Thoughts are flowing in and out of your awareness like water in a river. Most of the time, you barely notice them, and even when you do, you accept them as truth. But many of these thoughts are limiting, negative, and self-sabotaging. They are old patterns, inherited beliefs, or fears that have no basis in your current reality. They were planted long ago, often unconsciously, but they continue to shape your decisions and behaviors. The power of awareness lies in noticing these thoughts, recognizing their influence, and understanding that you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. Awareness begins with curiosity. You start asking yourself, what am I thinking right now? What am I feeling and why? What stories am I telling myself that are holding me back? These questions are simple, but they are revolutionary. They force you to step out of reaction and into observation. They give you a moment of pause between stimulus and response, and it is in that pause that real power emerges. The ability to choose your response rather than react unconsciously is the essence of mastery over your mind and your life. When you cultivate awareness, you also begin to notice patterns. You see the triggers that provoke fear, doubt, or anger. You recognize the moments when you fall into procrastination or self-sabotage. You identify the beliefs that have been quietly guiding your choices, often without your conscious consent. Awareness allows you to trace your results back to their source in your thoughts and emotions. You begin to understand that your current circumstances are not random. They are the natural outcome of the mental patterns you have been running. But awareness is not just about noticing what is holding you back. It is also about seeing what works. You start observing the thoughts and behaviors that lead to energy, motivation, and progress. You begin to see the small choices that create momentum in your life. Awareness allows you to amplify what works and reduce what doesn't. It is the compass that guides you toward intentional action and away from habits that drain your potential. Developing awareness requires discipline. Your mind is used to running on autopilot, and old patterns resist being observed. There will be moments when you feel uncomfortable, when noticing your thoughts exposes fears or insecurities that you would rather ignore. But discomfort is a sign that growth is occurring. The more you practice awareness, the more natural it becomes. You start noticing thoughts as they arise instead of being swept away by them. You catch yourself before reacting impulsively. You gain the ability to redirect your energy toward constructive action. One of the most powerful aspects of awareness is that it creates choice. When you are unaware, you are a passenger in your life. When you are aware, you are the driver. You can consciously select the thoughts, beliefs, and actions that align with the life you want to create. You can decide to think differently, respond differently, and act differently. Awareness is the first step in reclaiming your power because it reveals that your life is not dictated by circumstances. It is dictated by your perception, your focus, and the choices you make. Awareness also connects you to the present moment. Most people live in the past or the future, reacting to memories or worrying about what might happen. But awareness anchors you in the now, where true transformation is possible. When you are fully present, you can observe your thoughts without judgment, respond intentionally, and engage with life from a place of clarity and strength. The present moment becomes the laboratory where you experiment with new ways of thinking and being, testing what works and learning from what doesn't. Finally, awareness is the foundation for all other growth. Without it, motivation is temporary, strategies are ineffective, and change is superficial. With awareness, everything becomes possible. You begin to understand yourself deeply, uncover hidden potential, and create a roadmap for lasting transformation. Awareness is not a one-time event. It is a daily practice, a commitment to look inward, to notice, and to choose consciously. It is the doorway to freedom, the moment you stop being controlled by automatic patterns and start creating the life you truly desire. Every thought you have has the potential to remain just a thought, floating in your mind, or to become a powerful force that shapes your life. What determines which path a thought takes is belief. Belief is the engine that turns ideas into action, intentions into results, and visions into reality. Without belief, your thoughts are weak and powerless. With belief, even the smallest idea can ignite a chain reaction that transforms your life. Belief is not wishful thinking or blind optimism. It is an unwavering conviction that what you imagine can be achieved, combined with the willingness to act relentlessly until it becomes real. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you had an idea, a vision, or a goal, but hesitated to act because deep down you didn't truly believe it was possible? The thought existed in your mind, but without belief, it had no force. Belief gives thoughts momentum. It creates a bridge between imagination and reality. When you genuinely believe in something, you begin to see opportunities that were invisible before. You find solutions to problems that seemed impossible, and you persist through challenges that would have stopped you otherwise. Belief transforms your mental energy into tangible results. Belief also determines the quality of your action. Two people can have the same knowledge, the same resources, and the same environment, but the one who truly believes in themselves and their vision will take far bolder, more consistent, and more effective action. Belief gives courage, fuels resilience, and sustains effort when circumstances are difficult. It pushes you to take risks, to step into the unknown, and to keep moving forward when fear or doubt tries to stop you. Without belief, action is half-hearted, inconsistent, and ultimately ineffective. With belief, action becomes unstoppable. The fascinating thing about belief is that it is not fixed. It can be cultivated, strengthened, and expanded. Many people walk through life with limiting beliefs, inherited ideas about who they are and what they are capable of, and they allow these beliefs to dictate the boundaries of their potential. But beliefs are not facts. They are interpretations, habits of thought, and mental commitments. When you consciously examine your beliefs, challenge the ones that limit you, and replace them with empowering alternatives, your thoughts begin to carry the force needed to create extraordinary outcomes. Belief also acts as a filter for your perception. When you truly believe in the possibility of something, your mind begins to notice evidence that supports that belief. Opportunities, resources, mentors, and insights that were invisible before suddenly appear. When you believe in your potential, you act with confidence, and your confidence attracts the right people, the right situations, and the right timing. Conversely, when you doubt yourself, you see obstacles everywhere, and the world reinforces your skepticism. Belief changes the lens through which you view life, and through that lens, your reality begins to shift. Another critical aspect of belief is its relationship to persistence. Every achievement, every innovation, every act of courage in history was preceded by countless failures, setbacks, and moments of doubt. Those who succeeded did not stop because they stumbled. They persisted because their belief was stronger than their fear. Belief keeps you moving when the path is unclear. It fuels endurance when obstacles appear insurmountable. It turns challenges into lessons and setbacks into stepping stones. Without belief, setbacks become excuses to quit. With belief, they become fuel to keep going. Belief also amplifies your emotional energy. When you act with conviction, you tap into a level of enthusiasm, focus, and intensity that cannot be achieved through mere thought alone. Emotions are the driving force behind all action, and belief is what gives your emotions direction and purpose. When you believe in your vision, your energy becomes magnetic. It motivates you, inspires others, and generates momentum that carries you forward even when external conditions are not ideal. Finally, belief creates a cycle of success. Thoughts lead to belief. Belief leads to action. Action leads to results, and results reinforce belief. This cycle becomes self-reinforcing. The more you believe, the more you act, the more you achieve, and the stronger your belief becomes. Conversely, negative or limiting beliefs create a downward spiral. Hesitation, inaction, and stagnation reinforce doubt and fear. Understanding this cycle is crucial because it shows that belief is not just a mental state. It is the foundation for all meaningful action and lasting change. When you combine belief with focus, clarity, and consistent action, your thoughts no longer remain abstract ideas. They become a blueprint for achievement. They guide your decisions, fuel your persistence, and shape the trajectory of your life. Belief is the bridge between dreaming and doing, between imagining and achieving. It is the invisible force that turns ideas into reality, potential into results, and ordinary people into extraordinary performers. Your mind is not a passive observer of life. It is a magnet, constantly attracting the experiences, people, and circumstances that match the dominant energy and focus you carry within it. Whatever you dwell on, whatever occupies the majority of your thoughts, you begin to draw into your life. This is not a theory or wishful thinking. It is a principle, a force that operates whether you are conscious of it or not. And the incredible truth is that you have the power to consciously direct that magnet, to focus your mind on what you truly desire, and to shape your life according to the energy you cultivate inside. Think about the last time you were completely focused on something you wanted. A goal, a dream, an idea, and suddenly opportunities appeared. Doors opened, resources aligned, and people showed up to support you. That was your mind acting as a magnet. It was not coincidence. It was the natural outcome of your attention, your energy, and your focus. Your mind began signaling possibilities, noticing details, and creating momentum in the direction of your focus. Everything you want in life begins as a thought, and that thought, when held with intensity and clarity, begins to attract what is needed to turn it into reality. The key is awareness and intentionality. Most people let their minds wander, filling their thoughts with fears, doubts, worries, and complaints. When your mind dwells on what you don't want, you attract more of it. You may not notice it at first, but your focus creates filters in your perception. You start noticing evidence that confirms your fears and reinforcing the very patterns you are trying to escape. That is the power of the mind as a magnet. It does not judge or question. It simply responds to the dominant vibration you are sending out. If it is negative, it attracts limitation. If it is positive, it attracts opportunity. The process begins with clarity. A magnet without direction is ineffective. To use your mind as a magnet, you must be crystal clear about what you want. Vague desires produce weak attraction, scattered attention, and inconsistent results. But when you define your goals, visualize them vividly, and focus on them with intensity, your mind aligns itself with their achievement. It begins to notice opportunities that were invisible before, to draw in people who can help, to generate solutions where you previously saw obstacles, and to naturally move you toward your desired reality. Focus is the amplifier of your magnetic power. It is not enough to have a fleeting thought about what you want. You must dwell on it, feel it, and immerse yourself in it consistently. This is why visualization, affirmation, and intentional mental rehearsal are so powerful. When your mind repeatedly experiences the feeling of already having what you want, it begins to emit a signal that attracts matching circumstances. Your energy aligns with your desires, your actions become inspired, and the world around you begins to mirror the internal reality you are cultivating. Belief is equally essential. A magnet will not work if it is weak or corroded. Doubt and skepticism weaken the attraction. If you think, I can't do this, or it's impossible, your mind will focus on barriers, challenges, and limitations, pulling them into your life instead of possibilities. But when you combine clear focus with unwavering belief, the magnetic force becomes unstoppable. You act, persist, and notice opportunities that reinforce your belief, creating a cycle that accelerates your progress and multiplies your results. Your mind also attracts what you emotionally charge. Thoughts alone are not enough. They must be infused with emotion. Fear, excitement, passion, love, and determination act as energy that strengthens the magnetic pull. When you imagine success with excitement and conviction, your mind begins to pull circumstances and people toward that energy. When you dwell on fear and limitation, you are just as effective in attracting challenges, setbacks, and obstacles. Emotion is the fuel and thought is the direction. Together, they create the law of attraction in action. The people you attract, the environments you enter, and the opportunities that come your way are all reflections of your dominant thoughts and feelings. If you want a life of abundance, confidence, and achievement, you must maintain a mental and emotional environment that matches those outcomes. This requires discipline, mindfulness, and intentionality. You must monitor the quality of your thoughts, redirect negative patterns, and feed your mind with ideas that inspire, empower, and elevate. The more consistent you are, the stronger the magnet becomes, and the more effortless your results appear to the outside world. It is also important to remember that your mind does not operate in isolation. Your actions, your habits, and your behaviors must align with the magnetic focus you cultivate. Thinking without action is like turning a magnet in the wrong direction. The energy exists, but it is not channeled effectively. Belief, focus, emotion, and action all work together to amplify the magnetic power of your mind, creating a force that draws your desired life toward you with precision. When you truly understand and embrace this principle, everything changes. You stop blaming circumstances, luck, or other people for your results. You realize that your mind is the starting point of everything you experience, the engine that attracts success, opportunity, and growth, and the compass that guides your life in the direction you choose. Mastering your mind is the single most powerful thing you can do if you want to master your life. Everything you experience, every decision you make, every outcome you achieve starts in the mind. Your thoughts, your focus, and your beliefs shape your reality more than anything else. People often look outside themselves for solutions, better circumstances, more money, supportive people, but all external change begins internally. When you master your mind, you take full control of the one thing that always follows you, that never abandons you, that is the source of your power, your own consciousness. The first step in mastering your mind is understanding that it is always active, always processing, always creating. Most people allow their mind to be hijacked by fears, doubts, regrets, and limiting beliefs. They live reactively, letting automatic thought patterns dictate their emotions, actions, and results. Mastery begins when you stop being a passive observer and start being an active manager of your mental world. You recognize that your mind is not just a place where thoughts happen. It is a tool, an instrument, a creative force, and it must be trained intentionally. When you begin to take control of your mind, you start by noticing the quality of your thoughts. Every thought carries energy, emotion, and direction. Negative thoughts attract negative results, while positive, focused, and empowered thoughts attract opportunities, solutions, and growth. The practice of mental awareness becomes a daily habit. You start to identify the thoughts that limit you, the beliefs that hold you back, and the stories you tell yourself that prevent you from achieving more. Awareness is the foundation of mastery because you cannot change what you do not see, and you cannot control what you do not understand. Mastering your mind also involves directing your focus. The mind is like a spotlight. Wherever you shine it, energy flows and attention creates results. People who achieve extraordinary levels of success are not more talented or luckier. They are focused. They have trained their minds to concentrate on what matters, to filter out distractions, and to align their mental energy with their goals. Focused minds create clarity. Clarity drives action, and action produces results. Learning to control where your attention goes and sustaining it consistently is the key to turning vision into reality. Belief is another essential component of mastery. Thoughts alone, even focused ones, are not enough unless they are powered by belief. Belief turns ideas into action and fuels persistence when challenges arise. It is the difference between trying and truly committing. When you master your mind, you cultivate beliefs that serve you, that empower you, and that align with your highest potential. You replace doubt with certainty, hesitation with confidence, and fear with courage. Your beliefs become the internal engine that drives sustained action toward the life you want to create. Emotions are deeply intertwined with mental mastery. Your emotions are the language of your mind. They signal what you are thinking and feeling at a profound level. Mastery means understanding your emotional patterns and learning to channel them productively. You cannot ignore emotions, suppress them, or let them control you. But you can observe them, understand their origin in your thoughts, and use them as fuel. Excitement, passion, and determination amplify your focus and your belief, turning mental energy into powerful momentum. Another crucial aspect of mastering your mind is consistency. The mind is trained over time through repetition. You are not born with perfect mental control. It is built daily through habits, practices, and intentional effort. Affirmations, visualization, journaling, and reflection are all tools that help shape your mental environment. The consistent practice of directing your thoughts, managing your emotions, and reinforcing empowering beliefs gradually transforms the way you think, feel, and act. Mastery is not an event. It is a process, a commitment to daily discipline in the service of your highest vision. Mastering your mind also means taking responsibility for your results. When you blame external circumstances, other people, or bad luck, you give away your power. When you understand that your mind shapes your life, you recognize that control is within you. Every thought you entertain, every belief you hold, every action you take contributes to your results. Mastery comes when you stop waiting for life to change and start creating change from the inside out. The final truth is that mastery of the mind leads to mastery of life, because your internal state drives every external outcome. When your mind is disciplined, focused, and aligned with empowering beliefs, you attract opportunities, make better decisions, maintain resilience, and perform at your highest level. You become the architect of your reality, capable of navigating challenges, leveraging possibilities, and achieving extraordinary success. Mastery is freedom. It is the realization that no matter what is happening around you, you have the ultimate power to create, direct, and transform your life through the way you think, the way you focus, and the beliefs you choose to hold.